I'd like to start talking about how an adult, from a Torah perspective, how an adult communicates. It's a big subject, but I think that the place to start is by mentioning a contradiction. And that is that Chazal tell us that the only one who actually knows anything of what's going on with another person is the is a Kadosh Baruch Hu. We are limited, and the pasuk says, "Ani Hashem choker leiv bochein kalayos." Kadosh Baruch Hu knows what's going on, but we don't. There's another Chazal that says, "Ein ledayon elamasha einov roos." Somebody who's acting, in this case, in the role of a dayan, he's limited by what he can see. If you try to pull those two statements together, Ein Adam Yodea Ma Belibo Shel Chavero. It's one of the 7 things that are hidden from a person. Doesn't know the Amamisa, and he doesn't know. There's the whole list of things in Psachim that are hidden from a person. And one of them is that a person does not know what is going on in another person's heart. In fact, Chazal used the expression "Kishem shepartzufeim shonos, kach deoseim shonos." Just like people's faces are different, their deos, their way of understanding the world, which includes the way they understand their own thoughts and the way they understand what you're saying, is different than the way you understand it. So we're working with one of these interesting paradoxes. That is that there is something about HaKadosh Baruch Hu that we approximate. We're never actually knowing another person the way HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows a person. He alone can have what we might call perfect communication, because what he's communicating to the person is exactly what the person is meant to hear, and it's guided so that the person can absolutely hear it. We may not be the world's best listeners when it comes to HaKadosh Baruch Hu's communications, but the essence of communication, which for us is based on approximation, for HaKadosh Baruch Hu is based on accuracy. So we have a paradox. On the one hand, Ein Adam Yodea Ma Belibo Shel Chavero, and Kishem Shepartzufeim Shonos Kach Deoseim Shonos, we are distinct, and therefore there is no way, as much as we are meant to try to make ourselves clear to someone else, and as much as we are meant to try to understand what the other person is trying to convey, and that is how we approximate Hashem, by trying. Trying is always the parallel to Hashem's state. Kadosh Baruch Hu knows, we try to know. So we're always in a state of trying to know, but then how come we're not just paralyzed? If we're always trying to know, and we know that we don't fully know, that means that everything that we're saying is not absolutely accurate or mat'im, it's not absolutely correct for the other person. So then what do? And the answer is this other concept of ein ledayon elamasha ein roos. To be appropriate in this world is to work with what you have. And it's a dynamic tension between working with what you have and moving forward based on what you have, and knowing that what you have is less than fully accurate. A person needs to be able to tolerate a certain amount of insecurity in their communication. That's what gives the person the opportunity to pause. It's what causes them to check for understanding. They would paraphrase, did I understand you correctly? Did you mean to say? That is all giving fair space for the unknown. But that doesn't mean that we don't speak. And that doesn't mean that we don't interact. But we do so with a certain humility, with a certain awareness of limitation. And that is what allows us to combine these two Ma'amari Chazal, in fact, these two psukim, to combine them into the right starting position for communication. So lesson number one, so to speak, of communication is you can never get it right, and you have to work with what you have. If you can somehow hold those two seemingly opposite ideas in your consciousness, then humility and honest communication will follow, because honest communication never means absolute. It means honest in the sense that I acknowledge that I may not know. Limad lishon chalomar eini yodea is part of this story. Get used to the I don't know. But the I don't know is uncomfortable. I want to present myself as somebody who does know. But the reality slaps you in the face. You don't know. In that same Maseches Derech Eretz, where Lamad Lashon Chalomer Eini Yudea is to be found, you find the beautiful words, Ehav et Hashema, Usna et Hamabekach. Listen to those words of Chazal. Ehav et Hashema. Your best friend should be the perhaps, the maybe, the tentative, the suggestion, the possibility. Ehav et Hashema, usna et hamabekach. But if you dismiss something as being irrelevant, unimportant, who cares? So we should distance ourselves from that. That's a very bad way to operate. Well, the reason why I dismiss it is because I don't know how to integrate it. It's an outlier. It's something I don't know how to integrate this thing, and so I call it a mabekach. Not a smart move. But if I don't know how to, you don't have to know how to integrate it, because it adds to the unknown, and the unknown is your friend. Lemad lashon chalomer eini yodea. There's an outlier in our own lives, in our own behaviors, in the behaviors of others. There are outliers, and we could just dismiss them and say mabekach. It's no big deal. I get the main point. We don't need to deal with the mabekach. Usna et hamabekach. So just putting out there, part one of communication is the ability to integrate or to try to integrate two seemingly conflicting statements. One is, I don't know. I would love to know, but I don't know. So how can I speak? And the answer is, Ein ledayin ela masha ein of roas.